So good day everyone. So Professor Gil Cruz Jr. and to my colleagues, I will now be presenting my concept proposal, which is all about assessment of online Scrum project management meeting to the construction flow of an organization in the midst of pandemic health protocols for infrastructure related projects. So my name is Vincent Michael G. Sauler, and I am a Master of Engineering Management student with a student number of G210004 from Bataan Peninsula State University, main campus. So for my introduction, we will be talking about the background of the study, the statement of the problem, the objectives, significance of the study, and the scope and limitations. So for the background of the study, we all know that all kinds of communication and meetings are negatively impacted by COVID-19 and other airborne and direct contact infections, which force companies to adopt work-from-home policies or conduct online meetings. Fears of an imminent economic crisis and recession have been raised as a result of government efforts to flatten the curve by enforcing border closures, quarantine, and travel restrictions. And according to a global survey, 56% of businesses let remote workers and 50% of staff members work from home at least once each week. And also, with regards to the construction companies, the project locations, contractor, project manager are also large and dispersed in nearby and distant locations, making it challenging for these important individuals to keep track of the accomplishments, materials purchased, quantity and description of materials delivered on site, number of personnel on site, quality of their output, weather condition on site, and these manpower's compliance with the allotted calendar days for a specific project. That's why Scrum meeting was implemented for the improvement of all communications in a construction company. So let us talk about the Scrum meeting. There are typically three key inquiries throughout the meeting. First, what have you been up to since the most recent Scrum meeting? Number two, do you have any challenges or impediments? And number three, what will you accomplish prior to the next meeting? So it is all about planning. So it is held 10 to 15 minutes or also 30 minutes to some companies. And the people involved are the Scrum Master, Project Manager, and the development team. So once a week, a Scrum of Scrums meeting is scheduled. Each team sends one representative to this meeting. Who participates in the team? The participant need not always be the same individual, so it can be the others also. The whole Scrum meeting team often attends this meeting in addition to these team members. So the Scrum project management is presently being developed in order to fit a particular set of Agile principles and practices to various business models and knowledge management techniques. One of the Scrum's distinguishing traits is self-management. Scrum, which puts decision-making authority to the level of operational difficulties and uncertainties, provides a fundamentally different way to planning and managing software projects as compared to traditional command and control-oriented management. And in fact, there are a lot of consultancy companies offering Scrum Agile training in the Philippines. RCG Global Services is a business consulting firm with operations in the Philippines and the United States that provide technology and professional services. The Scrum movement in the Philippines, in their opinion, is still in its infancy and just recently began to acquire significant tractions in 2012. So what is the statement of problem of my research? So the research intends to study and evaluate the effectiveness, gains, and weaknesses of online Scrum meetings in a construction or infrastructure-related affiliations amidst the global pandemic occurring in the present generation. So the goal of this paper is to address the following questions. Number 1, does an online Scrum methodology meeting offer a competitive edge over an in-person toolbox meeting? Number 2, in light of the modification of the health and safety protocols issued by our government officials, what are the benefits and drawbacks of online Scrum meetings? Number 3, can all the issues brought up during the discussion be addressed straight away in an online Scrum meeting? So those are the questions that we need to answer. So the objectives of this paper is to review and assess the online Scrum meeting system used by construction companies in a targeted company in the Philippines, and to assist project owners and managers in delivering a more concise, understandable, contextual, and extremely detailed computer program to engineers, contractors, project managers, and project owners using available platforms to improve the quality of construction projects and to eliminate accidents and miscommunications within the technical field amidst the global pandemic. So now, let us talk about the significance of the study. So number 1, this study's significance lies in its ability to thoroughly examine and evaluate the process, participants, technical details, references, principles, and best and worst practices of the current Scrum methodology meeting used by construction companies amid the global pandemic in order to correct, rectify, and arrange specific points to increase the precision and accuracy of Scrum meeting. Number 2, the approach taken to overcome obstacles and accomplish the paper's objective will be put to use by construction company management to determine whether online Scrum meetings were able to address the following issues mentioned in the problem statement, and to help future researchers in their research on Scrum and Agile methodology in order to create cutting-edge software, websites, and other platforms for the holding of Scrum meetings. So now, let us talk about the conceptual framework. So the framing of the research topic served as the foundation for the conceptual framework of this study. The proposed issue was taken into account in light of the researcher's area of competence, which is in civil engineering, and it was carefully reviewed to determine its suitability for further investigation. Then we determined the organization where the study will be implemented, as well as the research gap. The study will be divided into 2 parts. Phase 1 will involve interviewing members of the population that has been selected as being relevant to the research in order to gather information. The data gathering procedure will also consist of the utilization of survey and questionnaire forms in a focus group. And after that, the information obtained will be evaluated and summarized. The first phase's data, which includes the selected group's vital success elements and key performance metrics associated to Scrum methodology meeting during the last 5 years, will be examined using qualitative and thematic analysis. When comparing the data from Phase 1 with the secondary data gathered in Phase 2, this information will be used. Critical success factors and key performance indicators. Statistical methods such as chi-square will be utilized to analyze the correlation between the 2 data sets that were collected. The study results will subsequently be made public in an effort to support the selected organization's Scrum meeting progress, improvement, and future innovations. So for the review of related literature, I have here 4 of the key points. So first, the Scrum project risk management. According to a recent research by Moran, Scrum team members often know what business solutions they are producing and what would ensure a successful project finish, but they are rarely able to articulate the components of their jobs that pertain to reducing risk, according to Moran from 2014. Yet, it's critical to recognize and evaluate risk as well as choose the best course of action for managing them. Agile Management Instrument, according to a 2018 poll of Mauritian businesses, meetings are the primary way for Agile software companies to share information, where discussions of source codes and project reviews predominate, according to Corimbocus, Tawakul, and Nagoa from 2018. And also, we are going to talk about Scrum's impact on work from home program. So Scrum was the most widely used Agile framework, in many businesses have implemented distributed Scrum throughout their organizations. According to the annual State of Agile study from 2021 from digital.ai, additionally, initiatives employing Scrum were expected to have a 60% greater success rate than those using the conventional technique. So this is according to Johnson from 2018 and Tafik 2020. And lastly, construction industry effective communication. A system of subcontracting and carefully crafted partnerships to launch and manage program is the main mechanism by which the construction business operates. At each of its normal stages, including design, financing, construction management, upgrade, and eventually a replacement, a building project involves a wide range of stakeholders. Additionally, it is crucial that communications be rigorous, clear to all parties involved, and effective. So now let us talk about the flowchart. So first, the research problem, which is titled as Assessment of Online Scrum Project Management Meeting to the Construction Workflow of an Organization in the midst of Pandemic Health Protocols for Infrastructure-Related Projects, will be researched. And the research gaps, pros and cons of online Scrum meetings to the construction workflow and methodologies, and pre-pandemic on-site toolbox meeting. And for the respondents, this will be the Chief of Engineering Department, project engineers, project foreman or lead man, and also the laborers. So for the interview, the effect of pandemic health protocols to the communication aspect in construction industry will be tackled, and also the ways to disseminate orders and plans efficiently and precisely. And now for the analysis stage, there will be qualitative and thematic analysis or quantitative. It involves the reviewing and checking, graphical methods, calculations, tabulations, personal or online dialogue or interview. And we will be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of the study. We will be ranking the data presentation based on the volume of participants. And what are the instruments that we will use? We will identify and evaluate the study using the critical success factor or the CSF and key performance indicators or the key KPI. And for the data validation, we will compare values from the advantages and disadvantages to the prior 5 years secondary data of CSF and KPI. And for the research output, it will be the assessment of the online Scrum project management meeting among the construction industry, whether it is good, it is improving the company or not. So now let us go to the research method and technique. So the study will use a mixed method approach to its research using both qualitative and quantitative research to address its research questions. So we will be using literature data research, survey forms, and online structured questionnaire. And the study will be using focus group interviews. It will involve a series of well-structured written questions to elicit more in-depth information about participants' perceptions of the benefits and drawbacks of online Scrum meetings in their workplace. So the research that use a variety of methodologies attempt to address a number of topics from various angles. Additionally, they look for responses to a variety of queries in order to support the result of their studies to get fresh perspectives on already known facts or occurrences. So there will be 3 main targets for the sampling and data collection method. So we will be interviewing Camellia, a Vistaland company, Lumina Homes, and also Fab's Architectural and Engineering Consultancy company. So there we will be giving them 3 typical key inquiries. Number 1, what have you been up to since the most recent Scrum meetings? Number 2, are there any challenges or impediments? And number 3, what will you accomplish prior to the next meeting? So now let us talk about the quantitative and qualitative analysis. So for the quantitative analysis, the percentage of a project accomplishment using Scrum methodology, and also the improvement in manager-employee and employee-to-employee relationship and communication. And for the qualitative analysis, does an online toolbox meeting give a competitive advantage over an in-person Scrum methodology meeting? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of online Scrum meetings in light of the revision to the health and safety protocols released by our government officials? And also, let us talk about the KPI and CSF. So for the KPI, or what we know as the key performance indicators, it is a group of measurable indicators that may be used to assess the long-term success of an organization. And also, when compared to other companies in the same industry, it specifically aids in determining a company's strategic, financial, and operational accomplishment. And for the critical success factors, it is an organization, company, or project must achieve a vital success factors in order to achieve its objectives. Critical success elements should be identified throughout the venture's planning stage along with deliverables, and a team or organization may use critical success criteria to assess where their priorities should lie and gauge their progress towards their objectives. So this will be the methodology for my research. So thank you very much for listening. Professor Gil Cruz, thank you for your support and for your guidance throughout our chapter 1 to 3 methodology for research writing, and to my colleagues for their inspiration and motivation. So thank you, and God bless everyone.